to get that online because we're supposed to be also streaming live on Facebook. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Well, eventually I'll get it. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're also streaming live on Facebook on the Choice Media platform, and most of the times our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, those internationally, this is where they interact with the show and also me being the host. Angela Hippolyte, Saltibus, good night to you. Tekla Preville, how you doing? Sabina Charles Glynn Prudent, good night to you. John Flavian, my former police officer, John Flavian, currently in the U.S., former police officer Martinus Cooper, and also former officer Patrick Donat. Cooper being in Canada and Donat being in the UK, good night to you. All officers attached to the Special Patrol Group, good night to you. Those of you currently logged in, J. Francis, good night to you. On the Facebook chat, we are live. Tonight, we have no guest, but as usual, when I have no in-house guest, you become the guest. And there are lots of things to go through, but I just want to inform you of the question for the night. And hopefully, I will get some feedback, some suggestions, some contributions to that very important question. I posted it earlier on the Police Insight Facebook page. And for those of you who have not visited the page or liked it, it is Police Insight. Just type in Police Insight in your Facebook search engine and you should get it. Or you could just go straight to my Facebook page, Zachary Hippolyte, and you will get a link to Police Insight. So, folks, like I said, we have lots of stuff that I wish to. We have a couple press releases, couple talking points, and also last Tuesday we did not have our Nathan teammates Know Your Laws, but we have it today. And our question tonight, according to our laws, the age of consent is 16 years. 16 years. Whilst the age to vote in a general election is 18 years. So I'm asking, should the age of consent, which is 16, be raised to 18 years to coincide with the age of voting? Or should the age of voting be lowered to 16, allowing those who have been given the right by law to have sexual intercourse the right to vote? And let me say that. I'm going to read it again slowly because sometimes it's a lot to take in. And someone might be saying, what prompted this question? There has been those debates off and on, whether within police circles, judicial circles, and even in the citizenry, where some individuals or citizens don't understand or they cannot comprehend why the law would allow citizens to engage in sexual activity, right? But not engage in the activity of voting. Yeah? So the question again, should the age of consent be raised to 18 years to coincide with the age of voting? Or should the age of voting be lowered to 16, allowing those who are given the right to have sexual intercourse the right to vote? I want you to ponder on this question, and eventually we'll be opening up the lines a little early so I could get some interactions. But in the meantime, whilst you ponder, we have some articles and press releases and stuff that we have to go through. But if I were to just quickly, because you know when the lines open, I usually don't get the opportunity to interact with my people in the Facebook chat. Someone here says you should change it to 18. Change it to 18. So we should take out the age of consent from 16 and put it to 18. Someone says 16-year-olds are still immature. Interesting. Good night, Victor Cienteli. In Anthony, sorry, from Brooklyn, New York, you always logged in. Someone here is saying 16 years is not a reasonable decision-making age. Most are too easily influenced at this age. The age of consent should be 18 years, just as voting is 18 years. All right, good night to you, John T. Edwards. So the conversation has already started. Hopefully those of you out there in TV land will also call the show. What has happened, folks? On last week, Thursday, yours truly attended a Valerie Lord Memoriam, which took place in Riviera, hosted by the family and close friends of the late Valerie Lord, who was senselessly murdered. I think that was April 4th, 1994 in Riviera. And I think we have some pics of that event. I guess we could probably show it right now, broadcast it on the screen. It was a very nice event. The rain held up. There were different speakers, persons like Jerry Georges, you know, the auntie of, also we had relatives from the family, the parliamentary representative, Mr. Kenson Casimir was also there. Yours truly was there. I gave a little speech that was carried, a news story as a matter of fact, was made with the speech that I gave by various media houses because I publicly declared how the death of Miss Valerie Lord, my former youth leader in Riviera, was what influenced me to become a police officer. And I think it was the Loop News Media that actually played my entire speech. And I got a lot of support and understanding from individuals as to what I said. The fact that I was a 15-year-old, and at the time, when Valerie was on her way home, she stopped by the hall, the Riviera Hall, where we the youth we used the community hall as our base to hold our meetings and etc. And there were about 4 of us playing dominoes, and Valerie requested that we go and drop her. But we being so immature and stupid at the time, and not knowing anything, we stayed to play the dominoes, so engrossed in our dominoes, and not knowing that the next morning we would wake up hearing that our friend, our mentor, our president would be found killed, you know, couple hundred yards before her residence. The perpetrator was actually found, and he challenged the police and he lost his life, and that was Titus Reynolds. And he actually lost his life in Riviera. So this was a very emotional memoriam for myself, and also one of healing, knowing that I kept that for such a long time. But I felt that at the time, the only way I could have probably atoned to not going and drop my friend, well, all of us actually, the 4 of us, I think that was Chris and some others, we still lived with that guilt. And I felt the only way I could have atoned was to become a police officer. That at the time, that was my thinking. And hunt down rapists. Yes, rapists and murderers and those who would abuse women. And up to now, as a police officer, I have a passion for assisting the weak, especially our female counterparts. Good night, Calix Jungo, Tasha Justin, Virgin Paul, Diane Silly from Brooklyn. Good night to you. Yes, so that was an excellent memoriam, and hopefully there were lots of speakers. Hopefully this activity would also encourage other families who have lost loved ones, especially female, in tragic circumstances, to honor the memory of those individuals in such a like manner. It's very important, and it was a day of healing for many. So good night once again to the Lord family. We have a press release from the Royal Seneschal Police Force. Let me see if I get that press release. I could read it to you. Actually, I think it was posted on April 20th, actually. And so some of you may have known, but just in case, because we don't know everything all the time. But charges have been preferred in the 2015 murder of Yana August due to the diligent, and the press release goes on, due to the diligent effort of officers attached to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force's Special Investigations Unit, charges have been laid in relation to the death of Yana August. Yana's unresponsive body was discovered in Southre on July 12, 2015, along with her damaged motorcar. A post-mortem examination determined that she died as a result of asphyxia. Since the discovery, officers have exhausted all avenues to bring closure to the matter. On Tuesday, April 26, 2022, a male was arrested under suspicion for having perpetrated the murder. And on Wednesday, April 27, 2022, Zacchaeus Leon, a 45-year-old resident of Bexar Castries, was formally charged for causing the death of Yana August between July 11, 2015 and July 12, 2015. He was escorted before the First District Court for a bail hearing. He was remanded in custody until Friday, May 27, 2022. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force wishes to reiterate that despite the period of time elapsed, our officers spared no effort in bringing matters to resolution. We remain committed to creating a safer environment for all people in St. Lucia. And he goes on to say that anyone with information regarding a crime is asked to contact the Major Crimes Unit at 456-3754 or the crime hotline at 45-CRIME. And you just saw an image of Yana there. And the mom was, she was interviewed and she said she's just elated. And though we all know that it does not bring back the loved one, but at least there is some form of closure that justice apparently is on its way. So we're going to take our first break, ladies and gentlemen, and when we come back, some more discussions and the lines will be open soon to hear your thoughts, especially on our question of the night. Stay tuned.
Bank of St. Lucia Visa credit card for everyday people, everyday moments.
Right? Yeah, I'm good to go.
Are you the hunter or the prey?
Get over here! Hadouken! Even dragons look up to the sun.
It's in our name. Fried chicken, it's our thing. Others may try, but we have the original. We put the extra in extra crispy. and our secret in everyone's mouth. So if we want to make the best chicken sandwich, we just need to put our name on it. New Kentucky Chicken Sandwich. An abundant triple-breaded filet, premium mayo and pickles, all in a buttered brioche bun. The best chicken sandwich had to be KFC.
Welcome back to Police Insight. Your host there, Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte, and we're live on Choice Television and streaming live on the Choice Media Network, the Facebook page. As we continue tonight's show, you are my guest tonight. I always like it when you guys are the guest, because there's so much interaction. So what we're going to do now, we are going to do our Nathan Timet's Know Your Laws for this evening, because it ties in with our question of the night. So let's get to Nathan Timet's Know Your Laws. So our Know Your Laws for tonight is from the Criminal Code of St. Lucia, section 127, sexual intercourse with a person between 12 years and 16 years. And it goes on to say, subsection 1, a person who has sexual intercourse with another person who, A, is not the spouse of the first mentioned person, and B, is 12 years of age or more, but has not attained the age of 16 years, commits an offense and is liable on conviction, on indictment, to imprisonment to 15 years, for 15 years. Subsection 2. Okay, people, so 15 years, guys, just stay away from that. Subsection 2, it is a defense to a charge under this section if the person charged proves that A, now we're talking about the person that has been charged, so there's a way they could defend themselves. A, the other person consented. B, the person charged, 1, was not more than 21 years of age at the time of the commission of the offense and has not been previously charged with the similar or same offense. And 2, had reasonable cause to believe and did believe that the other person was 16 years of age or more. So these are the conditions where someone charged under this section may have a defense. And it goes on to say, subsection 3, subsection 2 shall not apply if it is proved that the consent was obtained by false or fraudulent representation as to the nature of the act. And it goes on to say, subsection 4, except as provided in subsection 2, it is no defense to a charge under this section that the person consented or that the person charged believed that the person was 16 years of age or more. So when you look at subsection 2, that speaks to the individual must consent, the person must not be more than 21 years of age, you must not have a criminal record where you've been charged with something like that before, and you did believe this person was 16. Subsection 4 is saying it is once those requirements are not there, you have no defense partner, none at all. Whether the person consented, the person could come to the court and say, yes, I said yes to him, I love him. You have no defense. And that person charged, whether they believe that person was 16 years or more. And that was Nathan Timet's Know Your Laws for this evening. So as you could see, people, that our Know Your Laws ties in with our question of the night. And I'm going to remind you of the question as we're going to open up the lines and have further discussions. So according to our laws, the age of consent is 16. Okay? You can consent to have sex at 16. However, the age to vote in a general election is 18 years old. So I'm asking you tonight, should the age of consent, since this has brought debate in various circles, should the age of consent be raised to 18 years to coincide with the age of voting? So therefore the law is now saying, hey, young people, you cannot engage in sexual activity at 16. You must wait to be 18 years, the same age where you can put your little tikwa, go and vote. That's when you could engage in sexual activities. Or should the age of voting instead be lowered to 16? So we're not waiting for 18, because some people say, but if I can have sex, I can vote. If I can have a child, I can vote. Should the age of voting, the voting requirement, which is 18, be lowered to 16, allowing those who are given the right to have sexual intercourse the right to vote? So you could call me at 456-0306, 456-0306. You could post your contributions. Okay, we have our first call of the night. Let's take that call. Good night, caller.
Yes, good night.
What's up, my brother? Talk to me.
I believe the age of consent should remain as is,
At 16?
at 16.
Okay. Why?
Because you have to allow children to grow. You understand? When a child is 16, the child is not mature, to me, my mind, not mature enough.
They're not mature enough to vote, caller?
Not mature enough to, it's not about voting, about the age of, consent.
Yes.
To have sex. Understand? To vote is a different matter. Let's put that aside. Sexual intercourse with a 16-year-old child, a 15, a 14, a 14-year-old child is a no-no.
Oh, okay. Now I get what you're saying. So therefore, we should raise the age. That's what you're saying. You should raise it.
I think you should raise it up to the age of 18.
Okay.
18, because here you have scenarios. I know one thing, Zachary, the law, I don't know if it is in the law books or if it has changed. Where you have persons having sexual intercourse with minors, and you have people going behind their back and making one schmuck.
It's it's wrong.
To stop.
Yeah, it's wrong, and it's still happening.
And the police
Yes.
should make it a case where the law should be in a way or crafted in a way that if a minor is raped or has sexual intercourse with an adult person, whether the family knows the person who did it or whatever it is, no wangement will prevent the police from taking that case forward on behalf of the child. Because remember, the child is the property of the state.
No, but I could tell you, as long as the police is aware, and let me say good night to the vulnerable persons team, as long as they are aware of the commission of that offense, they don't care about wajma, you know. The wajma that people having is not like the police knows and the police say, okay, do your wajma and we're done with that. No, they're doing their wajma between themselves and they doesn't let us know. Some people don't even report it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you, even if it is not reported, Zachary, the fact is, you talk about not reporting the matter to the police. You see, and I'm telling you, if such were to happen and the police do get evidence that a washman was taken, a washman was taken, the two parties,
they should prosecute. They should prosecute the parents and the guardians for taking a washman.
Exactly.
Okay.
You have denigrated.
Yeah.
Because that child will grow up knowing that some man had sex with me and my mother and my father because of money, or because they are afraid to go take it to the law that they take punishment. And I'm going to grow up with that thing in my head, and I'm going to react. So I think it's a different situation.
That's a good point.
Where you have the police have to go beyond that. You understand?
Yes.
It's not VP. You have to be acting all the time. The police generally have to be acting all the time. Don't let up on that, because that was my thing. Too many people get away, and the child is being left.
Excellent, caller. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, my brother. You could also WhatsApp me on 7200401, 7200401. Let me take if you have no call yet, let me take a reaction there in the Facebook chat. In my opinion, that mix-up in the difference of the age of consent on voting should be standard. This user is saying, as a matter of fact, anyone wishing to vote, buy liquor or cigarettes should be 21, because I think that's the right age when one can come to an adulthood understanding life decisions. And the person also says, okay, let's take that call. Good night, caller.
Good night, Sergeant.
What's up, my brother? Talk to me.
I am good. I have let me say that the law of 16, I do not believe that it has any problem. At 16, somebody can get gainful employment, right? This is part of our law. I think at 16, somebody, because I have a daughter who is 16, yeah? And just turned 16 in February. Our conversation is quite clear. Whether she's 21 or she's 80 years and there is no consent, it's against the law.
That's
Whether
right.
she was 5 years, you try anything, it is against the law.
That's right.
I think that the law needs to stay as it is. 16 is all right.
16
There is
is all
nothing to try and mix this with 18 years to vote. You understand me? Because if you move up the age of consent to 18, you might also have to move up the age for somebody to work at 18.
But-
and I think at 16, somebody can work.
But-
Somebody can take responsibility for themselves.
But caller, that's what we're saying, caller. So if we're saying the person is responsible and they can work, why are we not allowing them to vote?
The voting problem, the voting, I think that voting, you are more mature at 18. You're more mature at 18. At
Okay,
one point,
caller.
it used to be 21.
Ah.
We bring down the voting age to 16. I don't think that is the place for a young person right now.
Okay.
Yes, they're practicing at school and getting into the parliament and understanding the parliament. I think 18 years is more mature a person to vote.
Okay, caller.
And I will not take off the point. And there is one thing there: consent. Consent. Whether the person is 16 or 18, the word is consent, and this is where we've got to stick our heads into.
That's right.
That if somebody says no,
It's
it
no.
is no. You understand? Even the married people, and if you're married and the wife says no, you have to try and control yourself. You understand myself? Because there may be reasons. You can argue the reason, but let it be. Let it be. Ou pas ni droit pour faire moun, pour entrer en dedans moun sans droit yo pas ba ou droit.
That's
pas
right.
fait.
That's right.
And you, officer,
Yes, caller.
this is one thing. I was a cadet officer when the first set of women came in, and this is one of the things that, as a welfare officer, that I stuck up to. You understand me? We are friends, but be very careful. And parents, we need to give our children the courage to tell us, whether they're 18 or they're 21,
Yes.
give them the courage that when somebody try to abuse them sexually or otherwise, speak it out. Come to you. Come to the parent. The parent is the first. And I tell the young people listening to, the first step is to go to your parent.
Thank you.
Don't be scared of your parent. If you cannot go to your parent, go to your teacher, go to the police.
Go to somebody. You got to
Go
speak
to
out.
somebody that you can trust at least.
Yes, caller.
You understand? Because sometimes if you step father, papa, click a face. So you can show them to face. But I would say we would stick to it.
Leave it as is. Okay.
Leave it as it is. But the main thing there, consent, my brother.
Yes, my brother.
Have a blessed evening.
Well
my brother.
said, caller. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Excellent, excellent. Let me see if I get anything on the WhatsApp texting platform. So we have this caller who says, just leave it as it is. It's just as good as the way it is. I like to say good night to the Volney and Joseph family from Deramo. Good night to you. So we're going to take a quick break once again. And when we come back, we're going to continue this amazing discussion. Stay tuned to Police Insight.
Stop! Did you know that it's illegal to steal water? It's also unfair to paying customers and Wasco, and there's a possibility of contaminating the system. It is also illegal to supply a disconnected customer with a direct connection. The consequences include a fine of $5,000 on summary conviction or 12 months imprisonment. Call us at telephone number 457-3900 or come to our offices at Lance Road, Viewfort and Soufriere to speak to a customer service representative if you've been disconnected. A message brought to you by the Water and Sewage Company Incorporated, WASCO.
Lighting is about security, knowing that you're safe and there's always light to guide your path. Lighting is knowing that you're always welcomed and that someone is waiting for you. Lighting is the friend who comforts and keeps you company in times of stress. Even when you're setting the mood or just upgrading the look of your business, lighting is there. Be the designer of your life and make the beauty of lighting part of your world today. For all your lighting needs and advice, come see us at J.H. Larcher's Electrics. Your effective connection.
Welcome back to Police Insight. Your host here is Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte, and we're having an excellent conversation. Persons are reacting to the question. I'd like to say good night to Colindia. How you doing? Good night to you. Idella Volney, Antonius Volney, good night to you. The entire Joseph family at Dermo, good night to you. Hilary Saltibus, Sandra Luiso, I'd like to say good night to you. Diane Silly, good night to you. Let me get in some reactions here. Good night, Mr. Narcis Moise. Someone here says, does the nurses report when a minor comes to give birth? Does the nurses report when a minor comes to give birth? I'll get back to that. We have a call on the line. Good night, caller.
Yeah, good night.
Good night, my brother. Talk to me. Yes.
Good night.
Yeah,
Good night,
don't listen to your device or your thing. I'm fine. Talk to me.
Okay. I support the last caller 100%.
Okay.
You know why?
Why?
Because sex will always be sex. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
And especially the young children nowadays, most of them, especially the young girls, they are mad over sex. Because I can never forget that there was a little girl, she was about 14, 15 going to school.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she left school about this. She was about 17. And the day she said, I can't wait for me to leave school, for me to stop wearing that old uniform, for me to have my sex as I want. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, sex will always be sex. And no matter what you do, the children, they will still be afraid. You know? And another thing again, the jail is already crowded. Bring it up to eating.
Yeah.
You still have sex. And it's more and more. They are looking for more people to put in the jail. And these people, when they're inside there, they all need their our tax money.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why I tell you, I support the last call. I support him 100%.
I see.
Let's just leave it as it is.
Because, like you said, caller, and what you're saying is, if we put it to 18, the sex will still happen, and that's just more people going to jail.
More people will be going to jail. You understand me? And there is not. They don't even have space in the jail to put people. You understand me? So it's better to just leave it as it is, and let's continue to do what we do.
Okay, caller. All right, caller. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, caller. In case those of you probably will just join in, we have a question for the night. Should the age of consent, which is 16, be raised to 18 years to coincide with the age of voting? Or should the age of voting be lowered to 16, allowing those who are given the right to have sexual intercourse the right to vote? Let's take this caller. Good night, caller.
Yes, good night.
Good night, sir. Talk to me.
All right, trying to call the show.
Yes, sir, you are there. You are live.
All right. Yes. The question, right?
Yes.
I know it might not be directly related.
That's okay.
But I
No
want to
problem.
know, is something a crime after it's been made? There's a law that's passed against it. When it's really a crime, like for instance, if somebody commits a crime against like a child, like for instance, if this law did not exist, that there was an age by which children there was consent, would it still be a crime if somebody had sex with a 10-year-old or a 5-year-old, or how does that happen? How does it work?
You are right, caller. It will not be deemed a crime because a crime is what the society deems a crime. There are certain jurisdictions or countries or tribes that believe in a child having sex as early as the age of 10, where they marry children that age. And in their laws, in their jurisdiction, it's not a crime. So you are correct.
So, okay, great. So the idea is, I'm going to jump into something. Just listen to what I'm saying. So the statute of limitation does not expire on crimes like
Sexual offenses,
rape and murder and stuff like that, right?
No, it doesn't expire. You're right.
Okay. Now, how comes just recently there was a gang from Europe who came here on a holiday, a gang, right? And in that time when they committed all their crimes, in their jurisdiction, these things were already crimes, you know, that you cannot just kill people, you can enslave them, you can rape young children, all of that stuff. And
Oh my God.
the statute of limitation does not expire. So how comes if that member of the gang comes here, we just salute them and we pay no mind to the crime that they had committed?
But caller, it was not the member of the gang, those who represented the gang, I'm using your language, who committed the actual crime. They are descendants of those who did.
Excellent. So some of those who actually did, they're still alive today. And I don't see, again, you know, I'm just saying, you know, I'm talking about,
I know.
and you know what really proved me on that?
Yeah.
Recently, a historian was talking about children from the age of 6 years old during the time when these crimes were legal.
Wow.
Had to go to work and had to be subjected to all different types of things, were abused, were raped, and so on. And since the statute of limitation is not expiring, can we take these cases up?
Yeah, it will be difficult, caller, because you would have to get the person who actually committed the offense. What I know where you're going at. I guess these are some of the points that reparations committees and activists could use, but you would need the actual individual and victims in reference to those atrocities, and they're not around anymore.
Right. You say so beautifully, and again, so I believe that program, which you're doing, is an excellent program.
Thank you.
We need to delve a little bit into like what is a law, a rule, or the rule of law, because there is a rule and there is laws, and there's rules of laws. Right?
Yes. I know what you're saying. You're correct.
Right. So what I'm saying is, the fine line between these different elements that you're mentioning there, and that allows a lot of people who committed these crimes to simply leverage these various, the mechanisms that's within it to go scot-free, and others find themselves, repeated at paying for the poor, So the program is great. I keep it up. I think we need to get a little bit more sophisticated in like trying to bring these awareness to people.
Yes.
So that they can operate within the ambit of the law and don't find themselves in unnecessary, entanglements that they could have avoided. So thanks again, my brother. Have a good show.
Thank you, caller. No problem. As a matter of fact, that caller call-ins actually give me an idea, because I want some education myself on the whole reparations issue and stuff like that. So eventually, with the blessing of my police commissioner, I will extend an invitation to one of the reparations activists in St. Lucia, and let's have a discussion, because I myself want some education on that. Let me see. I have a message. I just remember I saw a message just before the call came in. Someone making a submission on the WhatsApp texting platform. Sergeant, I believe we need to get our laws in line with age that we believe it should, whether it's 16 or 18, but we need to stick to one or the other. Our law contradicts each other. This person is saying the law is contradictory. The criminal code says one thing as it relates to young persons and minors. However, our most recent piece of legislation, which is the Child Justice Act of 2018, says that the minor is someone under 18 years old. And I'd like to thank you so much, caller, for that new viewpoint. Because the criminal code is saying something in truth, but now the Child Justice Act is saying a minor is someone under 18. But I know some persons would say under certain situations. I have another message on the WhatsApp texting platform. Good night. Any decision on age of consent should take into consideration the normal sexual development of humans. Young sexually mature people will have sex unless they have some moral conviction to wait. And I'd like to read that part again, viewers. And young sexually mature people will have sex unless they have some moral conviction to wait. Putting a legal provision that criminalizes natural inclinations, I like that part, without any social or religious structure for people is short-sighted and ill-advised. We should not increase the age of consent. Instead, lower the voting age if it must be synchronized. We shouldn't increase the age of consent. Now, I think that may be the first contributor that speaks to lowering the age, lowering from 18 to 16. Let me read that last part. We should not increase the age of consent. Instead, lower the voting age if it must be synchronized. We shouldn't increase the age of consent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, viewer, for that contribution. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, more discussion. Stay tuned.
Lucelec customers whose accounts are in arrears are encouraged to call or send a WhatsApp message to our credit control section at 728-9756, 728-9754, 728-9755 to make payment arrangements to settle your arrears. For bill balances, call our automated account inquiry service at 457-4433 and follow the prompts. Use myaccount.lucelec.com to obtain detailed account information and make online bill payments directly to Lucelec via debit or credit card or through your bank. Select the option to receive monthly bills via email. Customers can also pay bills through Shoppee's online or walk-in service.
Your vehicle insurance should never break your bank. With Beacon, you can get up to 35% off your fully comprehensive car insurance and still get full protection from unexpected damages with free loss of use, windscreen cover, and special perils. When it comes to your insurance, always be sure you settle for more. Call us at 458-5860 or log on to beacon.co.tt and get a quote today.
Welcome back to Police Insight. Your host there, Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. I'd like to say good night to Miss Johnny Joseph, the Director at the Gender Relations Department. And I also like to say good night to Sophie. Hey, Sophie, good night. I understand that you're watching the show, and very soon you will be celebrating your birthday on Mother's Day. You're not yet a mother, though. So I'd like to say happy advanced birthday to you, Sophie. And I understand you've been having a blast. Some plans that your people had for you, getting gifts all the way to your birthday. That's just amazing. Good job. Let us go back to the, let's see what we have here. Good night, Unella Joseph, Cherry Blossom. Good night to you. Someone did ask, so do nurses report when a minor comes to give birth? Well, when we say minor, okay, especially those under 16 who cannot give consent. I'm sure that the medical professionals, though we all know that they are duty bound to keep certain things private, but that would be a commission of an offense if a minor below the age of 16 has gone to the hospital to give birth, pregnant, etc., or going to the clinics. The medical professionals, I'm sure, by no doubt, would be informing the legal authorities of such an occurrence, because someone under 16 just cannot give consent. Okay? All right. Let's see what else we've got here. I'm locked in and listening to the program. Good night, Antonius Remy. Tamo Philip, good night to you. Dadai Aurelis, I was wondering if I'm pronouncing that properly. Dadai Aurelis, good night to you. And just a reminder of the question of the night again. You could also call me on any other topic. It's not a problem. But the main question for the night. Okay, we have a call. Let's take that call. Good night.
Hello, good night.
Good night, ma'am. How are you doing?
Not too bad.
Talk to me. I'm hearing your TV or what in the background.
What you hearing?
Your TV or whatever you're listening to.
Who
I
I'm
could hear
calling
myself. You are calling the Police Inside Talk Show?
Yes.
Yes. Talk to me.
I want to speak to Mr. Hippolyte.
I am here. You are live on the show. Go ahead.
Who's that, Mr. Hippolyte?
Yes.
Mr. Hippolyte.
Yes.
Let me ask you something. Let me tell you, I am not hearing anything about my cousin Timet. I would like to hear something, what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Is anything happening about that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
From the time they kill him, I haven't heard anything.
Mm-hmm. I understand how you feel, caller, and all I could say at my level is that it is still being investigated. The intention is to have, and I know he may be listening, is to have the officer in charge of crime, Mr. Nicholas, on the show, who will probably give a little more on that. But that's all I could say for now. It's being investigated.
So you see, the person that called him to work for him that night, what have they done to him?
I don't know about that information, caller. But any information you have, I'm sure you should share it with the investigators.
Mm-hmm. Do something about him. They can't just kill my cousin just like that.
Yeah, I'm
and
so sorry,
not hearing
caller.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay then.
All right, my dear. Thanks for calling the show. And you know, people, this show is where sometimes victims of crime reach out, okay, and we welcome it. We welcome it. But the matter is still being investigated. I know some time ago, some individuals calling a minor feedback of myself in the earpiece. I know some individuals were arrested on suspicion. However, they had to be released. As you know, the police can only, we need the evidence. We need the evidence to charge. We have a call on the line. Let's take that call. Good night, caller.
Good night. Good night. How are you doing?
Hi there, my brother. Talk to me.
Good. I mean, we don't want to draw away from the question asked. 18 or 16.
Yes.
I think it should go should be brought up to the age of 18, the same age where that someone votes.
I see.
Because even when you read watch today, a 16-year-old, I'll say child, I would call him a child still.
Mm-hmm.
When you really think of it, a child who just left secondary school or even primary school at the age of, say, 15, 14, and they hit on the 16th according to the time you've entered school, I mean, they still think as a child.
You think so,
You
caller?
know?
You really think so?
Yeah, a lot of them. I mean, you see, we're talking about a few of the minority young ladies who goes out there that are young. You know, and then we take that minority and then we put it. But then we have to also blame society, because the very same ones that are going after those young people, within the age of 16, there are men who have 16-year-old daughter, and if they were to know another man is going after that daughter, they'd want to kill. Sorry for using the word kill, but I
That's
should not
okay.
use that word.
That's okay.
But they would want to do all sorts of things. And you know, they are the very culprit who are after the very same young people. You know, and I just find that 18, even if it's 18, as you, we always say, it has to be the age of consent, but at the same time, it has to be the right of the person to say, yes, I want to do it, and not because she's 18, you feel you can do it, because it can still be rape.
Yeah, it will be rape. If you're an adult and you don't give consent, it's rape.
You understand? Because a lot of men, especially, and I'll tell you one thing in society which we don't talk too much of. There are a lot of women who are actually out there raping other women, you know, and they rape young boys too.
It's
but
true.
you do not hear that because, say for instance, as a man, if I get raped by my wife, you think I can actually come to the police station and say, my wife raped me? Laugh, you will laugh at me.
Caller, I've heard that before. And maybe, caller, this is something that the culture back then maybe did occur. But caller, I'd like to put my neck on the line and tell you, if you were to go to the station right now, well, you have to report them. You have to report the officers if they do that, caller, because they're not supposed to.
So right now, with the new, sorry for interjecting there.
That's okay, caller.
But right now, with the new bill that have come out, probably an officer, a male officer, will take it serious.
Okay.
Okay? There have been incidents where when the female will come and say, hey, I've been touched or X, Y, and Z by the male, they are quick to approach, and then they will themselves be bodyguard to the very same, and you can check statistics on that. You know, they themselves will go, they'll protect that lady, and in the end, they end up having interfered with that same very person.
Same lady.
You know, and how would that man feel?
That's not proper.
I'm just putting it in reverse now.
Yeah.
If it's the man now who goes to make that report, they don't normally take it serious. I'm telling you.
Okay, caller.
I'm a victim of it already, and I'm telling you exactly how it is. They do not take you, the man, serious unless it reaches, and that is why certain things happen. Certain men do things in life, and then the very same officers and then will say, you know what? Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. Because many women call or they come into the police station crying foul, and that is why you find a lot of men, they rather take matters into their own hand rather than go in and trust. I'm not saying every officers are the same.
Yeah, I understand.
But you find there are officers, okay, who prey on those same men when they come and make a report. And even they'll even call the lady and to tell the lady, oh, this person have done that report, X and this and that and whatsoever. And let's go back to the topic. I think 18 years should be comfortable because the same way you can vote, that's when consent should be and I think it should remove at the age of 16. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, caller. You know, and I really want to say to my colleagues and those who are doing it, it's wrong, it's unethical. It is unethical. When someone comes to the station and make a report, male, female, homosexual, heterosexual, bisexual, alien, it doesn't matter. When this person comes to a station and make a report, they are in a place where they're in need of help. Okay? They are in a situation where they are in need of help. They're a victim. And we, and I say we, I'm not saying them, I'm a police officer, we should never ever make jokes or light comments if a man decides to come to the station and say, hey, I'm having a problem with my woman, I'm having a problem with my wife, she's abusing me. She's insulting me, she's beating me, she's touching me, and she has tried to rape me. Okay? This is a serious, serious thing. And if this is still happening, if it ever happened, and the reason why I'm saying that, because I have never seen it myself. But me not seeing it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, because this is why this caller who's actually saying that, hey, this happened to me, can call the show now and say what's happening out there, so that myself and the hierarchy and those of us in senior positions could hear what's going on. It is wrong and it is unethical. Okay, and we should not stand for it. All right, let me see what else is going on in the Facebook chat. So someone is saying here, so during the clinic, they're supposed to report, I know of 2 15-year-olds who got pregnant at 15, but gave birth at 16. View, I always like to tell you, is that sometimes we could only act upon what we know. Okay, we could only act upon what you know, but I understand what you're saying, because if you could calculate the date of the individual compared to the time when they gave birth, then definitely you could know for sure, hey, you did not have sex at 16. You had to have had it at 15, which is now you now have given birth probably just a month after your birthday. So I understand what you're saying. Someone is saying here, anything new on when immigration will open? All I could say, viewer, is the building is still being cleaned from what I understood. Earlier today, I heard Minister Poyet, I think she was being interviewed in that situation, and she stated that the building is still being cleaned, and for now, just like the notice that went out from the Royal Central Police Force, the Immigration Department is only entertaining applications of a serious nature in terms of medical wise and stuff like that, where someone has to travel, where it is immediate that this person must travel. But normal applications and stuff like that is not being entertained right now. Okay, so we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we continue the show. Stay tuned.
We heard you missed us, and we are excited to be back with Lifestyles with Candy Nicholas on Choice Media Network. We have great information on how to enhance your health and well-being. So join us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. as we discuss with experts on disease prevention, healing, staying fit, aging gracefully, the right foods and tools for health optimization, and keeping beautiful inside and out. Life-changing information, plus opportunities to win amazing health and wellness-related gifts. Join us Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Lifestyles with Candy Nicholas, only on Choice Media Network.
Dis-moi ça qui a affecté ou. Dis-moi problème pays a. Dis-moi solution parce que moi savent ou savent. Dis-moi qui manière nous savent mener cette liste devant pour faire un bon place pour l'autre génération. Dis-moi ça qui a sous chèo. Dis-moi tous les samedis soirs à 6h30 à sous Choice.
Welcome back to Police Inside. The lines are open. Let me remind you again of the question of the night, because we all know the age of consent is 16, if in case you didn't know, in St. Lucia, to have sexual intercourse, it's 16. And we also vote at the good old age of 18 years old. So we're asking, should the age of consent be raised to 18 years to coincide with the age of voting? Or should the age of voting be lowered to 16, allowing those who are given the right to have sexual intercourse the right to vote? I have a submission here on the WhatsApp texting platform. I'll read it out to you. It says, good evening, Sergeant. In my opinion, the age of consent should be increased to 18 years, since at that age, the young person is not fully mature. The gray matter of the brain is not fully developed, thus allowing these children to make logical decisions. Many minors at 16 are also still at the prime of their education, where their parents are the ones maintaining or supporting them financially. Though at secondary schools, there are students who are mothers from Form 2 through to Form 5. Where are the culprits of these sexual acts, or sexual? I guess that's what I was wanting to write there. Where are the culprits of these sexual acts? It is no joke that this is a serious issue. This is a serious problem. And I know the vulnerable persons team are inundated with reports. Inundated with those reports. And sometimes, and this is facts, folks, what I'm about to say is facts. There are times where like for example, the community may have an idea that it was Zachary. It was Zachary who may have slept with that minor. It is Zachary who have gotten that minor pregnant. They may have an idea. They've never seen, but that's the talk on the ground. That information would be relayed to the vulnerable person's team. Probably they would arrest Zachary interview him. Yeah, question him. Zachary has the right to remain silent. I don't know anything. I don't know nothing about that. Having discussions with the victim, the minor, the child, is another story. I have seen investigators try all different types of strategies, even getting assistance from stakeholders, partners, whether it be human services, gender relations, the family court, in trying to get a minor to open up and tell the truth about who they may have had sexual intercourse with. And sometimes they don't get that information. Sometimes that minor uses their right to stay quiet. And there are many reasons why that could happen. Fear, intimidation, the fact that whoever it is have promised them certain things. Yeah? And the police cannot use high-handed tactics to make a minor speak, make a child speak. You cannot do that. That will be definitely traumatizing the individual all over again. So we have to be very, very careful. And I know the vulnerable persons team, sometimes they get the information quickly, okay? And other times it is just not possible. Let's see. Not really strange, but we did have some other stuff that I wanted to talk about. Collins, we have some footage, I believe. I just want to give a little shout out to the community of River Meter. I know, was it last Saturday? Saturday past, the community held an activity of food market on Saturday in the community of River Meter, and it was very successful. And I think we have some footage, some pictures and stuff of that event, where the members of the community came together and put on this amazing display of agricultural products and crafts and stuff like that. And the activity was held on the River Meter court. Okay, and from what I was told, from all indications, it was a successful event. Do you have the little video footage of the cane juice? I believe, Collins, I wanted to see that one. Yeah, so okay, it's gonna come, people. And from what I'm being told, like I said, it was an amazing activity. Okay, and we want to encourage, especially if what's going on, people, reference to the prices at the supermarkets, yeah, where we can support our own when it comes to those type of ventures. So the River Meter Committee, those who were involved in that activity, I'd like to say kudos to you. I think the Taiwanese embassy had a hand in that also, if I am correct. Someone could also, if one of you guys are listening, you could correct me, but I believe so. So it was an amazing activity, and there is the footage of back in the day, this machine there, this cane juice squeezer, I believe that's what they call it, I'm not sure. So it was an amazing activity, and I just want to big up those of you who ensured that this activity was successful. Speaking of activities, I wish to say something. I know that the country you could consider in reference to what we went through with COVID for the past 2 years, apologies, 2 years, has opened up and economic activities been encouraged. But there are lots of activities that are occurring around the island where there appears to be no form of security. And we would like to discourage this practice. Coming out of the lockdowns and all the measures that were put in place, ladies and gentlemen, to where we were trying to find a balance between saving lives and encouraging livelihoods, things are now open up. But a lot of bar owners, event owners, etc., event promoters are having activities without seeking the permission of the office of the office of the Commissioner of Police, without having security. It isn't right, it isn't proper, and you know, the special patrol teams and the stations need to police their districts, need to police their jurisdictions, okay? Because it's like activities are popping all over the place. What happens when there's no security? Whether it be police officers or security officers manning your event, what happens is, you know, people consume alcohol. You also have individuals who have issues with each other, feuding gangs. This is when they take the opportunity for some reason. That's when they want to see each other, look at each other in a funny way. And at your activity, that is when they want to cause a problem. We recently had a homicide, I think that was in Ancillary. And if the information I received, I think whatever incident leading to that stabbing, it probably stemmed out of an activity, stemmed out of some dance or something. And like I said, someone could correct me if I'm wrong. But when I was listening to the news, I believe that's what I heard. You know, the security deters. That doesn't mean they cannot have a fight whilst the police is there or security is there. But most time it deters, you know. And business owners, event planners, event owners, you need to assist in the maintenance of law and order by ensuring that you go through the proper channels, and that is you submit your application, your loud music application, yeah, and your plan to the office of the Commissioner of Police, and get your event legalized. Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up. It is something that's important because it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand, people. And we need to ensure that when you have your activity, once again, it is properly planned, you have proper lighting, you have proper parking, and you have security. Because when a serious incident takes place at your event, it also causes a problem for you in having future events. Yeah? Especially if you want to have it legally. The reputation of your place, the reputation of your venue is at stake because you're not going to make money. Whilst you are trying to save money by not hiring security, you are at the risk of not making any money for the next couple of weeks or months because the reputation of your business is at stake, where individuals will say, I ain't going there. I'm not going there. An individual was killed as a result of that event, or an individual was killed at that venue. There was no security whatsoever. So I'm encouraging individuals, especially those who are having events and those bar owners, to get with the program. Someone sent me I think that video has gone viral now, Collins, where some of my colleagues were trying to arrest an individual, according to what I'm seeing. Can you play that for me, please? Now, folks, we've seen that so many times before. As the bicycle unit, whether it's traffic, whether it's central station, patrol, any station, any unit, department. We've seen this before. And we are going to continue to see it, because I need everyone to understand that we need to evolve with the times. We need to evolve with the times. The police, solution police, we are not equipped with less lethal weapons, or at least the modern ones. We are not equipped with it. So here is an individual who, for whatever reason, I'd like to assume that he committed an offense, and I'd like to assume that the police informed him that he is under arrest for committing such an offense, and the citizen has believed within his mind that he should not be arrested. He believed that he should not be arrested. Probably he has said he has done nothing wrong, and he would rather resist the lawful arrest of the police and cause this scene. I am of the opinion that if we were equipped with less lethal weapons such as tasers and pepper spray, such incidents would be minimized. Such incidents would be minimized. And if I were to read, I'm reading from the Police Chief magazine of the United Kingdom. And it says, firearms are one of the tools available to law enforcement, but less lethal weapons are also important tools, perhaps now more than ever, as in some situations, they provide an alternative force option that is less likely to result in fatalities whilst being effective. It goes on to say the three primary less lethal weapons employed by law enforcement include electronic control weapons, or ECWs, most commonly are tasers, batons, pepper spray, are already in widespread use, and experts anecdotally say that interest in less lethal weapons is running high. Okay? And it goes on to, it's a very nice piece of information I got there. And it goes on to say that, here's a quote. What we're finding from law enforcement is that they know they're under the microscope, says Steve Tuttle, Axon's Vice President of Strategic Communication. The best option looks good to the public, but is also a safer option and provides accountability. So what they're saying is that the taser is more effective than ever. Newer models are being designed to better penetrate thick clothing, and a particular model called the X2 model provides a warning arc that can be used as a preventative measure, as well as a backup shot instead of, of just a single shot. If there are two uses, you can verify that the first one didn't make a good connection. Okay, so are we ready for such a technology? I think we need to be ready for such a technology. We have a call on the line. Let's take that call. Good night, caller.
Good night, officer.
How you doing, my brother?
I had to call back.
Okay.
On the very same, as you just brought in this thing about how we deal with our criminals.
Yeah.
I would like to send a message to both the commissioner and the minister. Whilst we are going to spend money on the vehicles and all the others, I believe that it is time that we bring in the tasers and the batons to the use of for our policemen, so that we can better save some lives. And I'm not blaming the police all the time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm blaming those criminals who believe that they're above the police. I mean, you commit a crime, my brother, just go down and take your case. Sometimes you come out, you get a good lawyer, you get out of the case. I'm trying to speak. I'm saying that I want to speak to some of our people, our natives.
Go ahead, my brother.
Then do not take on the police. The police are there to protect you, you know. But it's most times, sometimes the police arrest you and it's already protecting you, you know, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to insist, and I will call on our government too, and I will call on our citizens to call on our government to give the police the modern tools.
Mm-hmm.
Even right now, I believe that the police should be equipped with
body
metal
cameras,
detectors,
cameras,
metal detectors right now, and more cameras. Even the body camera should be there too.
That's right.
You understand? To protect the police and to protect the citizens themselves. I believe we should get modernized as we move forward. We've got a very good opportunity. I am understanding the present government wants to assist us in the right way, go the modern way. My brother, you have had a very good show. But before I leave, I just want to say, earlier on I talked about the age,
yes.
but I also want to talk to our young ladies and our young men. Protection. One of the things, you've given consent, you do not want to have a kid, do it the correct way.
True.
It is a form of exercise, it's a form of enjoyment, but enjoy it with protection, please, so that you don't get yourself on the other side with a father that runs away. Have a blessed evening again, my brother. Very good show.
Thank you so much, caller. Thank you. And he's so correct. He is so correct. Whilst we're talking about consent and sexual intercourse and whatever, if it does happen, we should protect ourselves. As a matter of fact, back in the 70s compared to now, they didn't have all the different forms of protection, you know, against pregnancies, and not just pregnancies. We still have people, let's not forget, we still have a lot of sexual transmitted diseases. We have another call. Let's take that call. Good night, caller.
Good night, Sergeant Zachary.
How are you doing, my brother?
Yeah, you're doing a very good show, I must say.
Thank you.
Yes. I can recall I first met you, I believe, when you were staff at the Commissioner's Chesterfield.
Oh, okay,
yes. You gave me some very good advice. You may not know who's speaking, but that's okay.
Thank you.
It was, Sarge, I've got 2-3 questions for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it would be good that one day you can do a show in reference to the court procedures and court system, especially for the police officers who basically drives the magistrate or who attend those courts or deals with the people, especially the district court, which is in Castries.
Yes, caller.
Okay, my question is that, does anyone apart from a police officer who has a firearm allowed to come into the courtroom with it?
That's okay. Mm-hmm. I know some lawyers who are firearm holders who go to the court with their
I'm not
firearms.
referring to lawyers, I'm talking about
normal citizens. No, they should not. No.
Okay, that's one.
Yeah.
Secondly, normally I'm not too sure how you call normally you have either female or male SPC or police officer who normally drive the drivers to the magistrate or accompany the magistrate to the court room.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, normally you have some secret doors where that only the magistrate should be attending to, should only use.
I guess it's no longer a secret.
Well, not secret, but...
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Carl. I know, I'm just joking.
But at the same time, is it permitted that any complainant or defendant should actually use that same very door?
No, not to my knowledge, not at all.
Okay. No, because there are cameras. You can actually go to the camera and you can see that. I'm asking those questions for a very reason. We are putting those magistrates and other people at risk. Even if you're my friend, even if you're my sister, even if you're my brother,
I agree.
And you come to court, whether you come to court as a complainant or a defendant, no one should be given any kind of privilege. Everyone should be every defendant or complainant should pass through the same door.
That's
not
right.
even to use the prisoner's door. That's as far as I see it.
You are
If my name
correct.
can be called outside, nobody shouldn't be coming in where their name shouldn't be heard because of they don't want other people to hear of the name. I remember, like I stated, and if I'm wrong, you'll tell me. Whether you're a defendant, you're a complainant, you are supposed to be treated equally, because not until you're proven guilty, you are a prisoner. And even as a prisoner, you have treatment.
That's
so
right.
this is something I would really like, someone from the court, okay, or police officer at a hierarchy to come to explain to the public, so in other words we can understand. Because too many times you have too much preferentially, or if it's someone that you go to school with or certain things, it is wrong, it is wrong. Because you can be a complainant as well as a defendant in the same matter. And that is something where I've noticed in St. Lucia, they will more treat you as a defendant even if you're the complainant. I would like you to address that for me, please, while I listen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, caller. And caller, you are correct. You are correct. When you spoke of, caller, when you first mentioned about having a show on court procedure, probably you would see I had a slight smile on my face. And the reason why, caller, let me tell you something. There is nothing none of my viewers could think of that I have not thought of in terms of a show. And I have tried my best to invite individuals, professionals in particular fields to come onto the show and educate citizens on how things should be. And sometimes, viewers, it is a mountain to climb to get individuals to come on the show and have those discussions. And it is, and I'm going to be real. It's a little unfortunate because it's good. We have in the criminal code saying ignorance of the law is no excuse. Fine, and that is true. However, we should not ever pass on the opportunities to educate our citizenry in certain things where they themselves might find themselves, situations where they might find themselves. But caller, you are correct in everything you say there. It should not be happening. And I have reached out to the courts on more than one occasion. I have reached out to the DPP's office for us to have shows on court procedures and other stuff. At the end of the day, all I could do is ask and continue asking. Yeah? We're going down to our last 5 minutes. Collins, I sent you a little video. I think it was about almost 3 minutes to 4 minutes on the taser. Can we play that? Yes, and then we'll wrap up.
How will artificial intelligence be used by police forces, and how will it deliver greater efficiencies in public safety? Axon, the global leader in connected law enforcement technologies, is developing advanced AI and machine learning technologies. Jonathan Gibson investigates the impact that their connected products and systems are already having on policing.
Imagine a world where your every action can be recorded. A world where video evidence can prove you acted professionally to manage threat and deal with the consequences.
Slowly, put your hands on your head.
This may look like a scene from a Hollywood blockbuster, but for more and more police across Britain, this isn't fiction. It's becoming a reality.
Axon's range of body-worn cameras and its latest taser device, the X2, are giving police the backup they need on the streets and in the courts to uphold the law and provide the evidence which secures convictions.
We have a connected ecosystem, if you like. We connect devices between the taser and the camera. We connect people with collaborating forces and other officers being able to share that recorded data. But we also connect with our API programs, silos of information that the police have already got to bring that into one central repository for evidence. We have a philosophy within Axon that we want to reduce screen time, as we call it, or paperwork for an officer by 80%. And so again, everything we do, every development we do, we focus on that aim.
Drop the weapon, drop the back, drop it, do it now. Drop the back, do it now. Get back, do it now. Drop the back.
Get back, officer with a taser!
When officers have to act on their feet, the X2's Bluetooth capability activates their body-worn cameras so they can concentrate on the task in hand, knowing all the evidence is being recorded.
The body-worn cameras, once knocked on, are constantly buffering. So once an officer gets his X2 device out of the holster, knocks from safe to live, the Bluetooth is activated and the camera comes on. Any other officers arriving on the scene, their cameras will be activated. And a pre-activation will also be recorded, which can be priceless in that sort of ambush type attack.
We want the officers to be focused very much on what's in front of them to keep the public safe and keep themselves safe. So anything we can do to automate any process with the body-worn camera and the taser, we will do, and we have done.
But it's not just out in the field where Axon's futuristic technology is bringing benefits.
A cloud-based secure portal, evidence.com, enables footage to be instantly uploaded, so it's working with the CPS to make it available in the courtroom.
Historically, we'd print off discs and spend hours travelling from one place to another. This can all be done over the internet. I think the future is more cops on the beat and less cops in stations doing admin tasks.
That means making sure officers have the skills they need to operate both safely and effectively.
The X2 device, per se, is a piece of plastic and some electrical components. It needs experienced officers to bring that device to life. Training is essential. Being operationally aware, being an effective police officer, and from an effective police officer we can develop effective taser users.
An important aspect of the training involves recognising the X2's deterrent effect and features like its warning arc, which gives suspects more opportunity to come quietly. But if all else fails, dual lasers and a second instantly deployable cartridge gives officers peace of mind alongside evidence capture.
So from capture to the courtroom, Axon's connectivity is helping the police to protect the public by making more efficient use of their time, both out on patrol and in delivering evidence.
We've just invested heavily in artificial intelligence, just purchased a couple of AI companies. And what that will enable us to do is, particularly around task-based police procedures, automate that as much as possible to make the process more efficient for the police.
Turning what sounds like science fiction into science fact from a company with a record for doing just that.
And in the process helping to transform modern policing.
Yes, I just had to share that video with you and everyone else who's viewing. Maybe one day in St. Lucia, one day we will have such equipment. Yeah? Let me just take on just 2 comments there as we wrap up. Good evening, Officer Zach. Hope that you had a good day. Just watched the video where it took at least 4 officers to restrain 1 man. If only these people would just cooperate, abide with the rules and regulations, and respect the law and those in authority, then the naysayers will say excessive force. But anyway, great program, officer. Watch your show every week. Do have a blessed night. Thank you so much, viewer. And someone in here says, I think they need law and order in the House of Parliament. One day I will have a show that will educate us on the rules of Parliament. Anyway, those of you who called, those of you who commented on the Facebook Live, those who sent messages on the WhatsApp texting platform, thank you so much. And those of you who out there in TV land who didn't say anything but at least found some value in what was spoken about tonight, thank you so much for supporting the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, supporting the Police Insight show. You know, if it's a Tuesday, it's Police Insight. Good night and stay safe.
Oh.